episode of Financial Freeway, your financial highway to success. I'm gonna figure out a tagline soon. We'll keep working on that. Anyways, good morning, folks. Another beautiful, gorgeous day in Victoria, British Columbia, and heading off to work today. It's been a really great couple of days. I think the last time I did a recorded a video, I should say, was on a week ago today. But it's been a crazy week, and not making excuses for not pumping out that content every day. But me and Gaby and I went to camping, and we went up to this little this beach up island on Vancouver Island here. It was 4 hours from where I am right now, but it was about an hour north, hang a left, and then 3 hours on logging roads, and it was amazing. Number one, they've done a lot of improvements on logging roads since the last time I drove those roads. But the one thing that amazed me, she found this place to go camping, and the reason we were going there was because every single campground on Vancouver Island was booked, and booked months in advance. In fact, I've been told that there are some campgrounds, they start taking reservations on March 21st, and by 9 o'clock in the morning on March 21st, they're booked solid for the entire year. So frustrating for some, but not for my Gaby, not for the Gabsters. She went out there and she found a great place in I don't even know. Okay, in the town, close to the town Bamfield on the island, and it was this little cove, little harbor, and with this amazing beach and this sandy bottom river that flowed into it. And we got there, and it the most beautiful beach I've ever seen on Vancouver Island. And I was actually upset. I was like, why have I not known this place existed? And I think they may be one of these folks. It's a privately owned campground, and I think they might be some of these folks that just do really good without advertising, just word of mouth. And it was, of course, it was packed, but we were able to get a site, and I've got some footage. The first day that we were there, I walk out onto the beach. I'm a little bit ahead of Gaby. Gaby's coming to the beach. I'm walking down the beach, and I'm wondering what everyone's looking at. Everyone's just kind of, there's people meandering around. Some people are looking and really excited, and some people aren't really that excited at all. They're just kind of almost casually looking out there. And then I see what it is. The entire bay, the entire little cove, the little secluded little sanctuary was teeming with humpback whales. And it's interesting to see whales, and I've seen them before, but fleeting in the distance. But this, and it was like watching the fountain at Bellagio. Just the water spouts everywhere, and some of the whales were breaching, and it was quite a display. We watched it for hours, till the point we finally had to turn and say, well, let's go get some lunch. We got lunch. We got a fire going on the campground, and then we went back, and it was still going on. It went on all day long. It was breathtaking. It really was. So I got some great video that I'm going to put on here for you guys to watch. But really, I think an amazing secret is really what it is, because everyone knows about Tofino and Hewlett and Parksville. They know about these resort towns, but I've never heard of this place. And we'll be back. We'll definitely be back there. It was really a great experience. Another thing that happened is I had a magician friend show up, and he came in with his wife 3 days ago, and they stopped in, and he was lecturing here in town for our club. and to be honest, I'd never heard of the guy before, and often that's happened where I don't hear about a magician, and they show up and they put on a lecture, and also, okay, these guys actually have decent chops, and they're good, is what I'm saying, really good. It happens a lot in this industry, in the magic industry. These guys walk around with this incredible talent, and they're just not household names. So, like I said, often I don't. It's happened before. I don't know these lecturers when they come to town, and I didn't know Sean. So yeah, sorry. The man's name was Sean Taylor, and we're hanging out the first day, kind of settled. The next day, we spent the whole day together. Well, actually, they took off and did some sightseeing on their own, and then we went out for dinner and watched a very disappointing Vancouver Canucks in the Stanley Cup playoffs be eliminated, which was meh. That was very sad, but it was an enjoyable experience. And the more I got to know the two of them, the more I realized how amazing our little magic community is, and how people and they were from Australia, from the other side of the planet, end up coming in and meeting, and we become friends. We become really good friends. The lecture was amazing. A huge success for the club and for the lecturer, which was always good. It's always nice, so it's mutually beneficial for both. And he left this morning, had to hop on the 7 o'clock ferry, so he left at 5:30 to get there on time. And we're friends now. We had a great night last night. Stayed up a little bit too late, but his wife made us dinner, and we chatted about magic. And I gotta say, I'm always a little bit miffed when someone does some magic for Gaby, and she likes it better than my stuff. So I was like a little bit put out, but it was worth it for the quality it was. So today, what I wanted to talk about was. We talked last time about the entrepreneurial exercises in your mind. And let me just give you a really quick one here. And this is what happened to me this weekend. I was at the campground, and I looked around, and I know how much we paid for our campsite for the night. I counted them up, and I said there was, in this campground, there was, I think, like 120 tent sites, and there was like another 13 RV sites, and there was 2 or 3 group sites. So the way my brain works is I look at it and I go, okay, how much land is here? Kind of look at it. I was like, it's about 10 acres, maybe 20 acres, and then I look at, I do the math. I say, how much did we pay for this experience? And for us, it was $40 a night. Now, there's a lot of different variables with the types of campsites they have here. So to make it easier, and I strongly recommend this if you're going to start thinking about putting together concepts and ideas. So I just rounded it down to 100 sites to make it easy. I walked around the campgrounds and I saw that they were booked. They were fully booked. So I just said, okay, so roughly this it cost me $40 a night. There's 100 sites. It's $4,000 a night these people are making. And then, okay, $4,000 a night, and the season is about half the year. So let's say 188. Let's round it up to 200, just simply to make the numbers easier in my mind. And it's also to accommodate for the fact that I downsized the amount of sites just to make the math easier. So we'll say they're working at about 200 days a year that they're booked. It's about 6 months. And I'm thinking like April 1st to Labor Day weekend or something like that. So, but I don't know if the number is like 188 or something like that, but just to make the math easy for us to do in our head while we're walking around drinking our morning cup of coffee in the campground. I'm saying they're doing about 200 days a year that they're booked, and let's say they're booked solid 100 sites, $400, $4,000 a night is what they're kind of making. So you do that kind of math, and you're thinking, as I'm walking around there sipping my cup of coffee, this campground's making $800,000 a year. And then I started thinking, okay, well, how much would it cost to get a 20-acre chunk of land? Now, keep in mind, when you're talking about camping, you want to have some nice real estate. Now, these people have their private campground right on the bay, so obviously this is going to be impossible and a lot more expensive to get that kind of square footage in that kind of location. So you have a very desirable location, but with a desirable location becomes more customers, more campers that want to hang out. But at $800,000 a year, let's put that out over 5 years. That's $4 million. If you could get yourself a chunk of land for $1 million, and 20 acres for $1 million right now is not too unreasonable. So if you could get 20 acres, $1 million, you could have that paid off in full in 2 years. And plus, you could probably pay your staff to maintain it, and it might cost a little bit of cash to build your bathrooms, get your plumbing in place. But one of the things that they did, an added source of revenue at this place, is they sold firewood, which is great. And now selling firewood these days with camping might be a little more challenging as the fire restrictions become tighter and tighter. But we were able to have a fire, which was so nice. Being able to have a campfire, haven't had one of those in quite a while. And one of the other things they had was they had a little concessionary there, so they sold some snacks, and they sold bottled water, which again, they're going to up price it because of the convenience, the fact that you are 4 hours away from civilization, and they've got it there. You are paying for that convenience. They also sold sweets and some basic camping necessities, very, very basic. No tents, or I think they might have even had some tarps up there. But one of the cool things they had is they had showers, and you paid $2 for 20 liters of hot water. And I don't know about you, but that's value added, and it was very much an appreciated amenity that they had offered their guests. So I started doing the math on that. You could pay for your staff. You could pay back the bank within 5 years. You could be making a really good, healthy profit. You could have all of you have the bank paid off, and you could be giving. And not only that, but the great thing about camping, how many people walk away from camping miserable? Camping is one of those great things where you walk away from your experience refreshed, recharged, and not a lot of things to complain about when people come, especially to where we were. Well, so beautiful. So that's what I try and get people to understand when they start thinking about starting their own business. I start to think, a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It does work that way. Now, I did this based on 100% occupancy, never having a natural disaster, never having a highway washout, having nothing but good weather. I did this based on numbers that are not realistic. Now, 100% is just not nothing that can be. Even when we were there, we showed up Friday morning. Even we noticed some tents that were empty, and they didn't get filled until Saturday morning. So of course there's going to be higher occupancy during the weekend and stuff like that. But if you can start to put together numbers like that in your mind, you can start actually being able to truly appreciate how quick and easy it is to start to throw together a business that'll work for yourself. For instance, here's another one. A guy came to me. He was a janitor where I work, and he was really frustrated. He's one of those guys, and I'm sure anyone watching this would know this. They come to work and they're miserable. They hate their job. They hate the job that they fought so hard to get, and they're so frustrated, and they just, every day they come to work like, oh, I hate this place. He was one of those guys. And I said, well, what would make you happy, sir? What would you like to do? Where would you like to be? And he goes, well, I'd love to own my own painting business, you know, but, you know, it's hard to make a go of it. So I sat down with him. I said, well, what do you charge? He goes, well, I normally do move-out paints in these apartment buildings, and I charge $1,000 per unit. I said, okay, so you got $1,000 per unit. And I said, say you make $50,000 a year working here as a janitor. So if you were to be able to get 1 unit a week, just yourself, you'd be able to pay your salary. And then I found out that his mom, which I thought was hilarious, actually managed 3 apartment blocks. I was like, well, how could you possibly have a problem? You've got an in. You've got a built-in symbiotic relationship with someone who can get you lots of gigs. I just honestly, I didn't understand it. Anyways, he never took that leap, but I was able to, in just a few seconds, set him up financially in a plan for did I get in there? Yeah, I got in there. We're good. I think we're good. It always seems a little off. I was able to set him up financially with a business. And again, like this is the thing, is so often so many people are just unwilling to look at the numbers that are truly presented to them and see that there is possibility. But that's not the point of this podcast. This one here is about you guys getting into the habit of quickly looking at something, rounding numbers so it's easy to work in your head, and coming up with a plan that works, and then go back to the drawing board. Go back and say, okay, so how much is it going to take to prepare sites and run power to it and run plumbing to it? How much is it going to cost to clear the area and make it work for a campground? If you can start doing that quickly in your head, you get a good idea. Within a few minutes, you can see, is this plausible? Is this something that'll work? Is this something that's going to be good for us? Anyways, folks, I just dropped my microphone. Hope you can still hear me. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much. And I'm noticing we're getting a few more views on our videos. Really appreciate that. Very exciting. And thanks so much for watching. Be sure you subscribe. Check out financialfreeway23.ca. Also, check out Financial Freeway on Twitter. I'm going to start pumping out tweets on that as well. And every time I think of something cool, I'm going to drop it up there and hopefully link the two together. And of course, as I always say, spread the word. Spread the good word. Tell the world. Tell everyone about what we do here, because we want everyone in the world to understand that they have an inalienable right to live a life of success and abundance. Thank you so much, wherever you are in the world today.